after the loss to the Broncos on Sunday. Aaron Rodgers appeared to throw shade back at the head coach after those initial comments saying, look, we already know how to practice with cadence. Saleh responded. Take a listen.
We're always going to push the envelope with cadence, always. But with regards to operation, getting in and out of the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage, the communication that's being had, those are all things that we can continue to look at and clean up. But from a cadence standpoint, that's part of what makes us who we are, and we're going to continue to always push the envelope on that.
Stop.
He had a smirk on his face the whole time, too.
Stop getting punked. Stop getting punked, Robert Saleh. I'm going to put it to y'all like this.
I don't view it like that.
If you a head coach, act like it. If you are the head coach, be the head coach. Aaron Rodgers is being the quarterback, and he being the head coach. James, Shady, Chase, I have a huge issue with this. I will continue to elaborate on why momentarily, but I can't stand.
No. With the start like that, go ahead and elaborate now.
Let me elaborate on it, big dog. I'll elaborate on it in the story form. I'm elaborate on it in the story form. I'll elaborate on it in the story form. A husband and a wife. Yeah. They're driving around a hill. They're driving around a hill.
Are they happily married, though?
Happily married.
Who's driving?
Married.
Who's driving?
Husband is driving.
Okay.
They're driving around the hill, but it's dark and it's a windy road. They take a turn. Unfortunately, the car rolls over the hill.
Oh.
Husband gets out the car. He looks at the wife. The wife is fighting for her life.
Okay.
Gasping for her life. Husband, he's frantic. He's frantic. He's frantic. He looks at a distance and he sees doctor's office. Oh, thank God. He runs to the doctor's office. Knocks on the doctor's door. The doctor opens up. He says, sir, my wife is fighting for her life. Can you please come save her? The doctor looks at him and says, oh, I don't operate anymore. The husband looks at the doctor and says, either operate or take down the sign. Robert Saleh, either be a head coach or take down the sign. Either start head coaching or take down the sign, because at this point in time, you're a head coach by title only.
Yeah.
You are not a head coach by actions. Robert Saleh is a head coach by title. He is not at all a head coach by authority. Either coach or take down the sign. OTAs, you wasn't head coaching. Mini camp, you wasn't head coaching. Training camp, you wasn't head coaching. In season, you not head coaching. Either head coach or take down the sign. I'm not mad if you take down the sign. If you don't want us to call you a head coach anymore, we don't have to. We can call you quality control, because you're not even controlling things quality. But either head coach or take down the sign.
How long did you think about this?
5 minutes driving.
That's it? Yeah. How do you get this stuff in your head, bro?
Yeah. That's cool and all that. I ain't feeling it. All right?
I agree.
ain't feeling it. He said,
totally agree, Shady.
No Ashton Kutcher,
No
like a
Ashton
real
Kutcher.
punk.
No
All right,
TV.
let me say this. So, after the game, right, they lost 10-9, right, and they had 5 all-star, full starts?
5 all-stars.
Okay. And if the reporter asked the offensive coordinator after the game, right, or if the reporters asked one of the wide receivers or they asked certain players, they might give you the same response. But everybody don't get that type of questioning. You know why? Because the reporters only care about the star players and the head coach. So let me just say this for a second. After a game, your emotions are so high, right? You didn't watch no tape. Only thing you seen from the sideline, right? You're like, man, they keep jumping on sides or whatever it is. You know, we need to calm down the cadence. Until you calm down and you go out there, you watch the tape, and then you get your next presser on Tuesday, and then you calm down and you speak on hey, that's my fault. First of all, we've been doing this since camp, right? Cadence is one of our things that Aaron Rodgers makes him great.
It's a weapon.
And we need to keep that for our offense. We got to be more disciplined, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because I've been there after games, they ask me about a question, and I go right off. And then I calm down, right? Had a little shower, had a little cold tub. I'm thinking about the game, the plays. Then I watch the game, and I see everything I did wrong, I did right. And now when I get my next media day, because I always have mine on, I think, Tuesday, when I come in from the break. And I would say, you know what? I might have said this, but this is how I really feel. That's just the nature of the game. I've seen coaches do it. I've seen players do it. Yeah. All I'm saying is, I'm not going to fault him for taking something back he said after the game, because that's his immediate thoughts and the things he's going through as far as, like, feeling-wise and emotion. So I don't blame that at all. That's actually what football is.
You couldn't put it any better. I think that it finally showed some accountability and leadership to get up there and say, hey, you know what? I needed to take a step back. Cadence is a weapon for us. And what Shady was alluding to is, I think it's a bigger issue, honestly. I hate it, and I'm sure you guys hated it. Okay, the game ends 30 minutes later. There's reporters at your locker saying, hey, what did you think about this? What did you think about this? And it's sometimes hard because there's so much emotion, there was so much energy exerted in that certain game that you give answers that I've had answers before that I'm like, man, I wish I didn't say that. Because you don't have a chance to fully take in everything. It's same with head coaches. They're up at the podium 45 minutes after the game, and they're they get like this note sheet, right, of like all the major stat points, and it's maybe like 10 points. Hey, this is probably what you're going to get talked about. Do you know in film, they have 100 points they're going to talk about, so you can really fit it in with the whole. So actually, in my opinion, he showed the accountability and leadership to be like, hey, you know what? I misstepped. Yes, our offensive line had 5 false starts, but let me take it back a second. We took a breath, we relaxed, and you know what? I was wrong. This is the first time I've seen him actually say it.
James, let me real quick. I'm the only one up here that doesn't have children.
Yeah.
So pardon me for what I'm about to say. But what I know about children, because I've been a child, is the difference between children and adults is maturation.
Yeah.
Everything you all are saying rings perfectly true for a player. Shady, it rings true. When you're a 22-year-old athlete, of course you're going to be more emotional after a loss. Chase, it rings true what you're saying. And man, you might speak too frantically after a game. But the difference between a child and an adult is maturation. It's emotional maturation. The difference between a head coach and a player is I need the head coach to have the maturation to go to the podium like Mike Tomlin always does, say what you mean and mean what you say, and do not mince words. That's what I need my head coach to do. Everything y'all are saying, I do not disagree with at all whatsoever from the perspective of a player. But James Jones, when you are a head coach, I hold you to an adult standard at all times.
I don't want to necessarily say punked, that he's getting punked. But I do want to say, why? Why do you even have to get up here and say this stuff? What I mean is, okay, you got up there after the game, you was frustrated, we lost the game 10-9, all that's understandable, man. The things that I seen clear as day out there, offense wasn't moving the ball, we looked weak, and we was jumping off sides. So that's the first thing that came to mind. Okay, maybe the cadence we need to slow. Cool. Why you got to come back and backtrack it? This is a conversation in the team meeting. Y'all like the cadence, bro? You know what? Hey, my bad, man. It is a weapon. I was frustrated. We do need to get better at that. I just don't feel as a head coach you need to come back to the media and basically say, okay, I messed up and all that.
He was asked the question. He was asked the question.
Why you got? What I'm saying is, why do you have to answer? If the media asks me, hey, man, you said it about the cadence. Is it changing? Listen, man, we're going to deal with that in-house and figure out where to go with that. Point blank, period. And if I already had that conversation with my quarterback and my players, we know how we're handling it. All I'm saying is this does make it look like it ain't your team. Or get up there and say, I meant what I said. The cadence messed us up and we need to figure it out, whatever. But right now, you ain't really showing and acting like this is my team. I don't care about nobody else around here. MVP, Hall of Famer, whatever. I don't care about none of that. It's my team, my way. I don't understand that. You don't got to get back up to the podium and say that. So even though I know he was wrong.
He played at Vegas, you played at Raiders, and you played with
Green Bay,
right? You played with the Eagles. Yep. So you know this, though. The media with the Eagles is way different. True. The media with the Jets is way different. That little line ain't getting out of you're not getting out the interview saying that. They'll keep asking you and asking you and asking you and asking you. Philadelphia is real crazy. So I'll say this, though. They asked me a question again, and he said his real answer. But you said something about players and coaches. So you telling me you ain't never seen no coaches after a game go off, and then the next time, then maybe 2 days later when they have another press conference, they're more calm and collected and they're giving different answers? That happens all the time.
But the great ones, the Andys, I haven't seen it as of late. The Tomlins, I haven't seen it as of late.
He ain't great. Hold on, no. He ain't great. But there's solid coaches that are head coaches that don't gotta be great. All I'll say is this. There's times where I might have, okay, I'll give you a prime example. There's times where we didn't run the ball well, right? And they asked me questions like, hey, man, we didn't run the ball well, right? They wasn't really no holes, you know what I'm saying? We were getting beat up front. Because I'm an honest person. I love all my linemen. And then I watch the game, right? Then I come back Tuesday, because I got my own press conference. Every Tuesday, Sean McCoy's up. And I say, hey, you know what? I didn't play well. Yeah. My eyes was in the wrong directions, right? I wasn't reading my holes right. I didn't make guys miss. Because when I watched the tape, there was holes. They were blocking, and it was me. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? 100%. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with him taking accountability. I don't know. I think because Aaron Rodgers saying something back to him, it's like, okay, it's A-Rod's team. And every time there's another situation where he might have missed mini camp, or he might have did this, he might have did that. So now this is like added on to it. Yeah. But if you're really watching it, I don't think there's nothing wrong with what he said. I don't think he's getting punked. I think he had a crazy reaction, and he was emotional after the game. Because it was 10-9. They should have beat the Broncos. The quarterback had 60 yards. Yeah. He's a defensive coach. Okay, and then we move forward. It's all these false starts from these linemen that's veterans. He's pissed off about that. He speaks what he says, and he's seen. And then he watches the tape, and he's like, you know what? I'm tripping. Because we
I
scored
think that's different
touchdowns on them same type of cadence.
I think it's a bigger issue, in fact, and you actually said it a little bit in your answer. I don't want to make sure that America doesn't gloss over this because there is a difference between a defensive head coach
1000%.
and an offensive head coach, how they handle the offense and how they handle the quarterback. A defensive head coach that holds his team to 10 points and Bo Nix to 60 yards, they expect to win. You know, the first person that's getting blamed, I've been a part of it. I've seen it with star quarterbacks. The first person that's getting blamed, Aaron Rodgers. You know, Mike Tomlin, what he said? I thought Justin Fields played his best game. His best game. Yeah, Justin needs to clean this up. He needs to do that. He needs to do that. Like, I'm not saying he's pointing fingers, but he's taking the pressure off. Mike Tomlin was the 27 points that his defense gave.